On June 10th, another season of the Men's Volleyball Nations League gets underway, a tournament many fans have been eagerly waiting for. Can Poland defend their title? Will Japan get back into the medal race? What will Belgium's debut season look like? And after their sensational World Championship run, can Bulgaria prove their status in this volleyball marathon as well? We'll get all the answers in early August. A lot of people have been asking me to make a tournament preview and share my predictions. But honestly, team rosters, and especially their goals for such a long competition, are basically a lottery. And sometimes it feels easier to win the lottery than to guess which players will show up at certain stage and what exactly the coaching staff is trying to achieve. Some teams will go all out to win. Some will use the VNL to test every player on their national team shortlist, and some might not even have any major objectives for the 2026 Nations League at all. So in this video I suggest we first go over the format of the upcoming battles and then take a look through the extended rosters of the national teams to figure out who we can expect to see on our screens and who unfortunately we probably won't see at all. So, over the course of 3 competition weeks, the 18 best teams in the world will battle it out for a place in the final 8 and continue the fight for medals. China will once again host the finals, which means they are already guaranteed a playoff spot. And judging by what we saw last season, the race for the remaining 7 tickets to the knockout stage is going to be absolutely insane. Each team will play 12 matches during the preliminary round, so yes, just like before, not every team will face every other team. Remember, we have 18 national teams in the tournament, but only 12 preliminary round matches per team, and the word "only" really applies only in this context, because for the players this will be a brutal test. Week 1 will take place from June 10th to June 14th in Ottawa, Canada, Brasilia, Brazil and Lini, China. Then from June 24th to June 28th, the volleyball festival moves to Orléans, France, Gliwice, Poland, and Ljubljana, Slovenia. The most intense week of the regular stage will be held from July 15th to July 19th, with Belgrade, Serbia, Chicago, USA, and Kansai, Japan, determining who advances to the medal race. The finals will take place in Ningbo, China from July 29th to August 2nd. The bronze medalists will earn $300,000, the silver medalists $500,000, and the champions will take home $1 million. The tournament MVP will receive $70,000, while players selected to the Dream Team will earn $10,000 each. And as I mentioned earlier, right now we only have the extended rosters of players who could appear in the upcoming tournament. When exactly they show up and whether they show up at all is something we'll find out as the competition unfolds. For example, in the women's tournament, the roster for the opening week was announced almost right before the matches started. Now let's move on to the rosters themselves, and we'll probably start with the defending VNL champions, Poland. For the most part, pretty much every star player is included in the extended roster. The notable absences are Bartosz Kurek and Norbert Huber. While Bartosz Bednosh will miss the tournament due to injury. And while I was writing this script, it was announced that Mateusz Pieniek will once again miss the international season because of health issues. On the bright side, Alexander Slivka is back after already taking part in the traditional friendly tournament. Mikołaj Sawicki also gets another opportunity after serving a doping suspension that later turned out to be based on a false positive result. And of course, we're about to get another episode of the classic series. Which Polish opposite will Nikola Garabic unveil to the world this time? Bartosz Gomułka gets a great chance to establish himself in the lineup, but Alex Nasevich will also receive another opportunity. There's little doubt that the Serbian coach will give playing time to virtually everyone in his squad. And since we've already mentioned doping-related stories, we can't ignore Japan. The more attention a team receives, the greater the chances that some unpleasant news comes to light. Right before the start of the Nations League, Japan suffered a serious reputational blow. Middle blocker Shunichiro Sato was arrested in Tokyo on suspicion of possessing cannabis. According to Japanese media reports, the substance was discovered after he left his belongings at an arcade. The Japan Volleyball Association reacted quickly. Sato was removed from the national team and the rest of the players underwent testing. Reports indicate that all other tests came back negative, so at this point it appears to be an individual case rather than a major team-wide scandal. But in Japan, where drug offenses are treated extremely seriously, the story became huge news, especially considering this team's reputation as one of the most disciplined squads in world volleyball. And these headlines are particularly unfortunate after a less than successful international season in 2025. But let's move on to some better news. Yuji Nishida is back in the squad after missing the entire national team season last year, so Japanese fans definitely have something to be excited about. There's even a chance that Captain Yuki Ishikawa could appear during the first competition week. I was a little surprised not to see Masaki Oya on the list while Ryo Shimokawa made the roster. To be honest, the Suntory Sunbirds backup setter plays so rarely that I almost forgot what he looks like, but that didn't stop him from earning a national team call-up. And it's also a bit unfortunate for Alan de Armas, whose name has appeared in extended rosters multiple times already. Yet once again, he won't get actual playing time with Team Japan. Next up are the reigning world champions, Italy. This is probably the most unpredictable team out there. They can spend an entire season playing with almost the same starting six, and then show up to the playoffs with a completely different lineup. All the major stars are included in the extended roster, including Alessandro Micheletto. The chances of seeing the outside hitter are slim, but they are not zero. It would also be interesting to see Numri Keita with his new national team, but sorting out all the details regarding his sports nationality switch and eligibility to play for Italy means he'll have to miss at least this international season. A preliminary roster for the opening week has already appeared online, and it looks like young setters Porro and Bonifante will get their opportunities, while Mattia Bottolo could wear the captain's armband just as he did in the friendly matches. There's a reason I asked at the start of the video whether Bulgaria can maintain their level. Ahead of the Nations League, they announced an extension with head coach Gianlorenzo Blengini. He has already revealed the roster for week 1, and it includes almost all of the key players. The Nick Orlov brothers, Moni and Alex, will be on court right from the opening matches, and Alex Grozdanov is there as well. So this group is clearly aiming for a strong start. What do you think? Where will Bulgaria finish in this year's Nations League? France, on the other hand, will be fully focused on developing their young talent. We already know that Ngapit, Petri, Grebenikov, Chinenyeis and Tilly will skip the Nations League. Fauer Karl and Hillier Heno will also miss the start of the national team season due to minor health issues. This young generation will be guided by Trevor Clevenot, who just like last year is ready to jump onto the court from week 1. Antoine Brizard is expected to take part in the opening VNL matches, although he will join the team directly in Ottawa, where France will play their first week. Stefan Bouet is also on the roster, but it's still unclear when he'll be available to help the team. Now let's move on to Team USA. After mixed feelings from his debut season with the men's national team, Karch Kerali can now start dreaming about his first medals, because many of the team's biggest stars are returning. Yes, Aaron Russell has once again chosen to focus on recovering after a grueling club season, but DeFalco, Christensen, Averill, Shoji and Anderson will all be available. Matt Anderson could even help the team from the very first week, so the competition for playoff spots is shaping up to be even tougher than usual. And of course, we can't forget Brazil. This is another team where young players that the global volleyball audience doesn't know much about could make a name for themselves. The Souza brothers usually get most of the media attention, but Alan will definitely miss the Nations League, while Darlan's participation during the home week remains uncertain. The opposite is dealing with some minor health issues and missed the entire training camp, so we'll have to keep an eye on developments right before the tournament begins. Iran could also surprise a lot of people, even though Amin Esmailnejad won't join them right away. Strangely enough, one of their biggest advantages may be the fact that due to the tense situation in the country, the players will spend almost all their time together in training camps and travel directly to tournament locations instead of returning home. That level of chemistry and team cohesion could be a major factor in the race for the playoffs. After all, last year they came incredibly close. Slovenia continues to put its faith in its seemingly immortal generation of veterans. This season they may have an extra advantage, as several players develop strong chemistry while playing together for Ljubljana. Rok Mohžić is healthy and ready to help the team, but unfortunately Klemen Čebul will be unavailable. Cuba could also provide plenty of excitement. Most of their key players are available. The team from the Island of Freedom will only be missing Melgarejo, Gutierrez and Herrera. And honestly, I can't even remember the last time I saw Herrera wearing the national team jersey, although the opposite position has usually been one of the biggest problems for this squad anyway. It'll also be fascinating to watch the newcomers, Belgium. Head coach Emanuele Zanini is preparing a very interesting tactical move. He has been working with Regers as an outside hitter in order to overwhelm opponents with offensive firepower, while Dermo could shine on the opposite position. Somewhere in Perugia, people probably got a little nervous after betting on Ferre Regers as a replacement for the brilliant Ben Tara. As for other interesting names, we are expecting the returns of Ole Plotnitsky, Stefan Ma and Eric Lepke. Linus Weber remains outside Germany's roster despite the coaching change. McCarthy, Ebodipor, Danani, Lema, Karlecek and several other stars will also miss the Nations League. But regardless, I'm convinced that this marathon will once again deliver an incredible amount of volleyball drama and unforgettable moments. And I really hope I'll be able to bring you all the biggest stories from the courts throughout the tournament. So make sure to support the videos with your activity if you want regular VNL coverage. You can find all the preliminary rosters and the tournament schedule through the link I'll leave in the description. Don't forget to share your thoughts on which team will surprise us this season and which one might disappoint. I'm looking forward to reading your opinions down in the comments. And as always, this was Nick. Love what you do and success will follow. See you soon. Bye.